Welcome to LiCAS.news. I'm Shirly Benedictos, and these are our headlines this week. Philippine Catholic bishops allay people's fears about COVID-19 vaccines. A British Cardinal calls for the release of a detained Indian Jesuit priest. The Archdiocese of Singapore expresses concern over a radicalized Christian boy. In Myanmar, military threats and coup fears overshadow the opening of parliament. Thai lawmakers, meanwhile, back this week an amendment allowing early-stage abortions. UN rights experts are asking Sri Lanka to stop forced cremations of COVID-19 victims. In the Vatican, Pope Francis says the world owes a debt of gratitude to journalists. Now to our stories. Catholic bishops in the Philippines allayed people's fears about COVID-19 vaccines, saying they are willing to be among the first to be inoculated if these become available in the country. Archbishop Romulo Valles, president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, said several bishops are willing to be vaccinated in public to encourage people and remove their fears. Bishop Pablo Virgilio David of Caloocan, Vice President of the Bishops' Conference, said the church leaders will do anything that can allay the fears of vaccination. A church-run radio station this week released a survey noting that 7 out of 10 Filipinos will consider the safety of whatever coronavirus vaccine is available before deciding to be vaccinated. The Philippine government aims to vaccinate up to 70 million people against the new coronavirus this year to achieve herd immunity. Cardinal Vincent Gerard Nichols, Archbishop of Westminster, has joined calls for the release of Jesuit priest Stan Swami, who was detained under India's Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. The 83-year-old priest is the oldest person in the country to face terror-related charges in connection to a 2018 incident of caste-based violence. In an open letter, Cardinal Nichols urged Indian authorities to release Father Swami on bail on humanitarian grounds. Father Damien Howard, Provincial Superiors of the Jesuits in Britain, also signed the letter, which said many Jesuits have already given their lives to the cause for the poor. The Indian priest has been suffering from Parkinson's disease and needs help with taking meals and dressing. Father Swami has been ordered detained by India's Special National Investigation Agency court after being charged under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. The Catholic Archdiocese of Singapore has expressed deep concern over the arrest of a young Christian for alleged violation of the country's Internal Security Act. Authorities had earlier detained a 16-year-old boy for allegedly planning to attack 2 mosques. The boy, an unnamed Christian of Indian ethnicity, had reportedly purchased a tactical vest online and had intended to also buy a machete at the time of his arrest in December. Singapore's Internal Security Department said in a statement on January 27 that the boy conducted reconnaissance of the mosques near his home and intended to broadcast live his attack. In a statement, the Archdiocese of Singapore said it is deeply concerned by this latest arrest of a self-radicalized Christian youth. The Church expressed solidarity with our Muslim brothers and sisters, saying that it stands firmly behind its principle of respect for all religions. The Church's statement said, violence has no place in society, let alone misperceived martyrdom through taking the lives of others. Myanmar members of parliament are set to take up their seats on February 1 as escalating tension between the civilian government and the powerful military stirs fears of a coup in the aftermath of an election the army says was fraudulent. The Army has said it plans to take action if its complaints about the election are not addressed, and a spokesman this week declined to rule out the possibility of a coup. Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy won a resounding victory in the November 8 poll, only the second free and fair general election since the end of direct army rule in 2011. But allegations by the army of widespread voter fraud, which the Electoral Commission denies, have led to the most direct confrontation yet between the civilian government and the military, who share power in an awkward constitutional arrangement. Suu Kyi has not made any public comment on the dispute, but a spokesman for NLD said members had met military leaders on January 28 for talks, but noted they were not successful. Lawmakers in Thailand have voted in favor of allowing abortion up to 12 weeks of pregnancy, a move opposed by the local Catholic Church. Legislators voted 166-7 in favor of amending a law that criminalizes abortion, backing a plan that its promoters say seeks to tackle unregulated terminations by non-medical practitioners. The amendment will allow women to have the abortion within the 12-week time frame for any reason. Under the amendment, an abortion after 12 weeks would be allowed only in certain conditions and would otherwise be punishable by up to 6 months in prison or a fine of up to $334 or both. The amendment was passed by the lower house last week and follows a constitutional court decision last February that ruled that criminalizing abortion was unconstitutional and violated human rights. A group of human rights experts have called on the Sri Lankan government to end its policy of forced cremation of Muslims who died of COVID-19. In a statement, 3 UN Special Rapporteurs warned that the policy could foment existing prejudices, intolerance, and violence. The experts said the imposition of cremation as the only option for handling the bodies confirmed or suspected of COVID-19 amounts to a human rights violation. They said there has been no established medical or scientific evidence in Sri Lanka or other countries that burial of dead bodies leads to increased risk of spreading communicable diseases such as COVID-19. Earlier, a Christian human rights group decried the decision of Sri Lanka to cremate all COVID-19 victims, despite international appeals to allow Muslims to bury their dead in line with Islamic custom. Pope Francis this week said the world owes a debt of gratitude to journalists, camera operators, photographers, and others who often risk their lives to seek the truth. He said that if St. Paul were alive today, he would be texting, tweeting, and firing off emails to get the news out. In his message for the Catholic Church's World Day of Social Communication, the Pope said St. Paul would certainly have made use of email and social messaging. In the message titled, "Come and See," the Pontiff said every communication tool has its value. The Pope devoted his message in this year's observance by inviting the faithful to come and see, to inspire communicators to strive to be clear and honest in the press, on the internet, in the Church's daily preaching, and in political or social communication. And that's all for this week. I'm Shirly Benedictos for LiCAS.news, your independent Catholic news source in Asia. For more stories, visit our website and subscribe to our YouTube channel.